All right. This is MDG goal number 6. MDG goal number 6 is about fighting disease. And this is for Pakistan. So, let's start with some general information and then we'll get to some specifics about how Pakistan is doing and what they're facing and what they're doing to fight against it. So first, MDG number 6, on the UN's website, it says this: in light of MDG 6, as the prevalence of HIV among the population has been historically low, Pakistan has surpassed the target for reducing HIV prevalence among 15 to 24-year-old pregnant women. Basically, this means that they are doing immensely well. Pakistan is doing amazing. They've already surpassed their target of reducing HIV, and this is amazing. They're even doing super well on reducing their tuberculosis cases, and they're expected to achieve their goals target this year. This goal, they are doing immensely well, probably better than most of the other goals. So we're going to go into more detail about that. Now, even though they are doing well in regards to HIV and tuberculosis, statistics say that they are lagging quite a bit in taking down malaria and polio. And we're going to go more into that later. So, first things first, let's go into general health care of Pakistan. The health care in Pakistan is administered mainly to the private sector, but which is about 80%, and accounts for about 80% of all outpatient visits. However, there are hospitals that try to branch out and help as many of the population in Pakistan as possible. Some of the most common diseases that they face are acute respiratory infection, or ARI. About 51% deals with that. That's an infectious disease, which means it can be passed from one host to another. In Islamabad, here, in the Google tour, this right here, this is where it is mostly found. The ARI problems are mostly found here in Islamabad. Some other ones that they in Pakistan face are viral hepatitis, which is a version of HIV, which, like I said, they are doing a great job at taking down. Malaria, as already mentioned, diarrhea, tuberculosis, hepatitis, so on. That's basically it on the general scale. Let's go into some more specific cases. In the infectious diseases in Pakistan, well, there are specific areas that are suffering with this more than others. For example, hepatitis C virus is an increasing risk over there with chronic liver disease and cancer. Along with tuberculosis is still on the rise. It still has a lot. Pakistan still has a lot to work on to take it down. For example, tuberculosis. There's about 410,000 newly affected people every year, and about 59,000 people die each year. In regards to malaria, there's 500,000 cases of malaria in Balochistan, which is that next, well, Balochistan. But before we get there, here's a couple locations. This is Aga Khan University. Here they are focusing on providing hospitals and doing research to help out, to cure tuberculosis, malaria, and all these other diseases. There's also the FATA and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Forgive me if I pronounce that poorly. Here in our tour that, again, they are doing increased research to help in any possible way that they can. Now here in Balochistan, this is where they are suffering through malaria, and this is where it is generally focused, and they are really trying their very best to take it down. We're going to talk a little bit later about what they're doing to solve these issues, but we're just going to talk about what Pakistan's story is in regards to disease. What are they going through? HIV, again, they're doing great. It's below 1% in the general population. But there are some general issues still. For example, there is HIV can be found in Balochistan. It can also be found in Faisalabad, which is right over here, Karachi, over here in Larkana, Sindh, and Lahore. These locations here, which you will see, this is where a lot of the HIV has been focused and where they are striving to fight it as best they can. Okay, so probably the next biggest issue here is tuberculosis. But they're doing a good job. Like I said, HIV and tuberculosis, they're doing the greatest job at taking down. In fact, there's a program here. If you go to www.ntp.gov.pk, you can find their National TB Control Program and learn more about their system. Just a little bit from this website, I'll read their front page, their mission, just to give you an idea of the wonderful things Pakistan is doing to conquer disease and help the health of their people. It says, our mission, a TB-free Pakistan. Their vision is universal access to tuberculosis care, achieving zero TB death. That is amazing, and they are doing a wonderful job already. The goal is to reduce by 50% the prevalence of TB in the general population by 2025 in comparison with 2012. Some of their objectives, what are they doing? What's their focus? 1. To increase the number of notified TB cases in 2013. They want to be notified of as many as possible. And they want to maintain a treatment success rate of at least 91%. They want to reduce per year at least 5% of MDR TB among TB patients. This is basically they want to decrease as many deaths as possible. Let's see, our functions, mandate, okay? It says here, we fight against tuberculosis in Pakistan to reduce mortality, morbidity, and spread of TB infection. National TB Control Program is integrated with primary health care system, implemented by district health authorities with the support of provincial TB control programs. They are spreading this program as far as they can possibly get. They're fighting tuberculosis and they are conquering it. Okay, probably the biggest issue that Pakistan is going through right now is actually polio. And that's where the remainder of our time is going to be spent here in this video. There are 3 main cities where polio is focused and where they are trying so desperately to conquer it. Just to give you an idea of their problem with polio right now, there are significant challenges in reaching unvaccinated children. There are so many children that do not receive vaccinations, which increases their vulnerability to polio. And it has become a real issue. For example, one issue says here, um, Pakistan continues to see a polio increase in the conflict-affected FATA, or federally administered tribal areas, where there is a ban on polio vaccination. There's an actual ban on this. And we need to figure out how to help to help them get through this, conquer this issue, so that they can protect their children, protect their people from getting sick with polio. Now, they are making progress, don't get me wrong. One CDC director, Dr. Tom Frieden, says, although there have been setbacks, we are making progress towards global polio eradication. We're going to talk about that a lot. Pakistan is having its issues, but they are making progress. Okay. So, for example, this first city that I want to focus on with polio is Karachi, or Karachi. Until recently, polio was considered a poor man's problem in Pakistan. It is a crippling virus that festered in the tribal belt. With the poor people, they are suffering the most from polio. But it has since continued to spread, and now more people in Pakistan are suffering from polio. There are several children, tons of children infected, who play in open sewers of sprawling slums. That's where the poor get it from, and then they spread it onto others around them. But here's some good news. Well, not good news. Oh yes, good news. It's continuously being worked on, and it's good news because they have noticed the problem. They've seen the issue. For example, the WHO, or World Health Organization, identified that Pakistan has one of the world's main reservoirs of the virus. Again, it's a good thing because the first step to solving a problem is recognizing there is one. And it's not only a poor man's problem anymore, it's now a wealthy problem too. Everyone in Pakistan is being infected by polio. Karachi itself is a pretty wealthy city. It's one of the bigger cities of Pakistan, and many people there in Karachi are becoming infected by polio. And it is very worrisome. People in the Karachi airport are it's very easy if you're not careful, if you don't get your immunizations, your vaccinations, that polio can spread from person to person. The Pakistani people, they're starting to, it's a jolting reminder that this is a crisis, and they're doing all that they can to help their children. But it is still a problem. Despite years of multi-million-dollar immunization campaigns led by government and international organizations, Pakistan reported 59 new polio cases, by far the most of any country, by April 30th of 2014, just this last year. So they've got a lot to go with polio. That's what they're going through right now. Some of the highest refusal rates for polio vaccination were recorded in wealthy Karachi neighborhoods, where residents had little faith in public health care. This was a study made by Dr. Zaidi in 2011. Now they're making a polio vaccination requirement for the wealthy and the poor to try to eradicate this issue. So, in Punjab, as well as Lahore and some of the other cities we've talked about, it is spread from Karachi to these cities. But again, the Aga Khan University, with the WHO organization, is striving to eradicate this problem, to take polio out of the equation. Karachi is an important place. Karachi's importance in this battle stems from position as a trade hub and has facilities to move immigrants, travelers, and it has been moving the polio virus. So this is the place where to focus on killing the polio virus so that it does not spread with the immigrants, the trade routes, and travelers. Now let's go back to the main city, Islamabad. Pakistan City, here in the Peshawar province, the capital city of Pakistan, is the world's largest pool of the polio virus. The vast majority of cases in the country and neighboring Afghanistan tracing back here. About 90% of polio cases found in Pakistan are linked to Islamabad. Probably they probably come from Karachi to Islamabad, and these two cities. That's where they're trying to spend the greatest effort that they can. The WHO continues to put forth their efforts in eradicating polio. For example, the WHO announced in India just this past year that they plan to eradicate polio because of high-risk communities in remote areas, and they declare that they hope to make this region of Pakistan, India, Afghanistan to be polio-free by the end of March. Pakistan has struggled for years to eradicate the disease through a series of repeated vaccination campaigns of children. They have tried again and again with different campaigns to make sure that children in Pakistan receive vaccinations for polio. Some people, especially the wealthy, believe that, like I mentioned before, they don't have the faith that's necessary. They don't believe it's going to work. But the WHO continues to persist, and the government of Pakistan continues to persist to try to help families fight this polio disease. And they are making progress, even though it's kind of slow. One of the things that has caused issues with helping these vaccinations go forward, for example, it says here in CBS News that the effort has been hampered in recent years by militant attacks that have left more than 30 vaccinators and police officers who protect them dead. For example, the Taliban, they're the ones that are causing big issues here. And the number of polio cases in Pakistan from 2012 to 2013 jumped from 58 to 91. This is a problem. And the poor Pakistani people are the ones who have to suffer for it. But that is why the WHO are not giving up. And the people of Pakistan will not give up either. Hundreds of thousands of Pakistanis are seeking refuge from fighting in the tribal regions in recent years and have flooded to Peshawar. This is where Islamabad is. And those infected bring back the disease with them when they leave. So this is causing that spread throughout Pakistan. The WHO and the government regularly test samples of the sewage water in Islamabad, as well as other major cities across the country. They've detected just this past year highly contagious polio virus in all samples collected in that city. So, what are they doing? They are now trying to purify the water as best they can. This organization, the WHO, has called for a repeated vaccination campaign to help get rid of the disease in Islamabad. So Pakistan could use as much help as they can, and I'm sure they are grateful for the WHO's help, the World Health Organization, in case you forgot what WHO meant when I said it earlier. Now, the issue still exists that vaccination teams are having a hard time reaching children in parts of the northwest of Pakistan and in other rural places. But their efforts are improving, and they're able to give vaccinations to more children every year. So, the main thing that the WHO is doing is this, and this is where I will close. Instead of focusing on the vaccination of international travelers, Pakistan and the WHO and immunization services are beginning to focus on providing immediate health care to displaced families and others in high-risk areas in Pakistan. Focusing on helping the people in the country is what is going to help the area roundabout more. And that is what they're focusing on, and this is their main issue now, and hopefully, and I believe they will, hopefully they will see great progress in the years to come. They did a great job with HIV. They're doing great with tuberculosis. Now, Pakistan, let's see you do the same amazing progress and success with eradicating the polio virus.